Welcome to the Good White Folks Podcast, your trusted source for counter-racism news and analysis. Powered by planetary chess and cutting-edge AI, we deliver sharp insights into the state of white supremacy to keep you informed and empowered.
All right, so today we're diving into some pretty heavy stuff, this research paper.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Make America Great Again, MAGA, the covert call for colonialism's comeback.
Yeah.
We're going to be unpacking this and seeing what it has to say.
Yeah, this one is really something. It's basically saying that MAGA is...
More than a slogan.
Yeah, it's like a callback to these like old school colonial ideas.
Oh, wow. Okay, so like when people are saying Make America Great Again,
yeah,
they're not just talking about bringing back jobs or whatever.
No, it's definitely deeper than that. The paper is arguing that it's about this desire to go back to a time when white people...
Like we're in charge.
Yeah, exactly. Like a very specific type of America. And the paper even asks, when MAGA supporters talk about this greatness, what time period are they actually talking about? Because we all know how messed up things were for anyone who wasn't white back then.
It's true. And what's really interesting is how the paper connects America's colonial past to the systemic racism that we still see today.
Oh, absolutely. Like, think about Manifest Destiny.
Right.
That whole idea of westward expansion, it was basically a free pass to just like completely screw over Native Americans.
And steal their land.
Exactly. And this paper is saying that the MAGA movement is rooted in that same messed up logic.
Wow.
And they even look at like Trump's statements about, Christianity and traditional values.
Yeah.
And analyze how that kind of rhetoric ties into this whole colonial mindset.
It's wild how deep this goes. And you mentioned that the paper talks about Dr. Amos Wilson and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing.
Yeah.
Can you remind me what their main focuses were in their work?
Yeah, so Dr. Wilson was really into authoritarian nationalism and how it uses like racial anxieties to maintain power.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's like the blueprint for, that whole strong leader thing with MAGA and the whole America First rhetoric.
Which is basically code for white people first.
Exactly. And then you have Dr. Welsing. Yeah. She actually coined the term color confrontation.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's this idea that a lot of the anxieties driving white supremacy are coming from this like deep-seated fear
of losing their power.
Exactly. As society becomes more diverse.
So basically these MAGA folks are terrified that they won't be on top anymore.
Pretty much, yeah. That's a very simplified way to put it.
It's crazy. And the paper even links all of this to the January 6th insurrection.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that whole mess?
Of course. How could we forget?
Well, the paper brings in this research from the University of Washington showing that racial resentment was a major driving force for those rioters.
It's true. They actually found that some MAGA supporters were more likely to justify the violence when they were told that the rioters were defending white America.
That's insane. It's like their brains just completely shut down when it comes to race.
And here's another crazy thing. They found that a lot of MAGA supporters were really hesitant to hold Trump accountable for inciting the whole thing.
It's like they're completely blinded by their beliefs. So we've got this research showing that MAGA is really about clinging to white power, even if it means violence and ignoring blatant wrongdoing.
It's a scary thought for sure.
And the kicker is this guy just got reelected.
I know. It's like, what the hell are we supposed to do now?
It's a grim reality we're facing.
It really is. It is grim.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? The paper actually tries to offer like a little bit of hope.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They dive into this thing called planetary chess.
Planetary chess.
Yeah. And they present it as like this potential weapon to use against systemic racism.
That sounds pretty intense.
It is. Yeah. It's basically like a high-tech strategy for dismantling racism.
So they're like simulating how to beat racism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're using modeling and simulation to break down how systemic racism works.
And then figure out how to fight it.
Exactly. And get this. They draw heavily on the work of
Dr. Wilson and Dr. Welsing.
Yeah, the same scholars we were talking about earlier. It's like they're taking those insights.
About power dynamics and all.
Yeah, all that messed up psychology and turning it into like a strategic battle plan.
Okay, so it's like they're gaming out how to beat racism.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like playing chess, but on like a societal level,
Oh, wow.
Making strategic moves to try and create a more just and equitable world.
So it's like outsmarting racism.
Yeah, like understanding its moves and developing counter strategies.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
But, even with all this research and these innovative approaches, it's hard to be optimistic right now.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's a huge setback.
Especially with Trump getting reelected.
I know. It's crazy. The paper doesn't shy away from it at all.
Yeah.
They actually use Trump's reelection as a way to show how high the stakes are.
Oh, wow.
If we don't address these issues like colonialism and systemic racism.
And things aren't exactly getting any better. Look at that Arizona Supreme Court decision
Yeah.
to enforce that abortion ban from 1864.
Oh my God. It's like something out of The Handmaid's Tale.
It's terrifying. The paper actually suggests that this decision is like a glimpse into the kind of world that MAGA wants to drag us back to.
It's true. Like a time when women had zero rights and white supremacy was just like...
The law of the land.
Exactly. And don't forget about Congresswoman Mary Miller.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when she called the overturning of Roe v. Wade a victory for white life.
And it's like, come on. How much more blatant can you get?
It's just sickening. And it really illustrates the paper's point about the connection between MAGA and white supremacy.
It's not just a theory anymore.
No, it's happening right in front of us.
So where do we go from here? Like, what are we supposed to do?
That's the big question, right?
When the system itself is infected with this toxic ideology.
Well, the paper ends with this call to action. It's challenging scholars to like really step up their game and actually analyze the systems that are being proposed to like dismantle systemic racism.
So it's not just about the academics coming up with solutions.
Right. It's about all of us. It's about all of us. Yeah. Like what can everyday people actually do to, you know, fight back against this?
Yeah. What can we do?
I mean, change starts with awareness, right? Like educating ourselves about these issues, understanding the historical context, you know, and recognizing how this messed up colonial legacy is still like screwing things up today.
So step one, get informed.
Exactly. Learn as much as we can about systemic racism and how it operates.
Okay, and then what?
Then it's about looking in the mirror and challenging our own assumptions and biases.
Yeah.
We all have them, even if we don't want to admit it.
That's true.
And those biases can actually fuel these systems of oppression.
Wow. It's hard to admit that we might be part of the problem.
I know. It's a tough pill to swallow for sure.
Even in a small way.
Yeah, but if we're really serious about creating a better world, we have to face those uncomfortable truths.
You're right.
About ourselves.
So we face those truths, and then...
And we can start taking action,
Yeah.
you know, in the real world.
Like what kind of action?
I mean, it could be anything. Supporting organizations that are fighting for racial justice, calling out discrimination when we see it.
Yeah.
Having those, like, tough conversations with friends and family.
Who might be buying into these ideas?
Exactly. It's about being part of the solution, not just sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, this whole conversation has been a serious wake-up call.
Yeah.
It's scary seeing these connections between MAGA and colonialism laid out so clearly.
It is for sure.
But it's also empowering to know that there are people out there fighting back.
Oh, absolutely.
Trying to create a more just world.
Couldn't agree more. This fight is far from over.
No.
It's going to take all of us working together to dismantle these systems of oppression.
But it's a fight worth having.
Definitely. If we can learn from the past, confront our own biases, and take action in the present, we can create a future where this whole Make America Great Again thing is just a bad memory.
That's the future I want to live in. Thanks for diving deep with us today, folks.
Thanks for having me.
And remember, this conversation doesn't end here. Keep learning, keep challenging yourselves, and keep fighting for a better world. We've got work to do.
Thank you for tuning in to the Good White Folks podcast. Be sure to visit us at planetarychess.org to explore more content and subscribe to our monthly newsletter. For those who want to stay ahead, join our paid tier for just $10 a month and receive daily State of White Supremacy alerts Monday through Friday. Stay informed, stay empowered, and let's dismantle together.